Diana, Micus, welcome to ENTV. This is going to be a fun interview.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Oh, excited to have you. I was asking Diana when we got on the call. I was like, Danny, do you remember who invited you here? But whomever it was, subject to the sentence. So I think it's whomever. Thank you for inviting Diana. This is going to be fun because Diana, you're a trauma-informed coach. So when someone hears that, what does that mean? That's a vernacular I've used to hearing, but what does it actually mean?
Yeah, I know. And trauma is such a it's a difficult word because as soon as you hear trauma, you go into trauma and most people sort of shy away from it. But basically what it means is it's identifying the core traumas that are limiting you right now. Limiting you by showing up as survival strategies, self-sabotage, depression, anxiety, fear, frustration. All those emotions that we experience now have a core trauma attached to them. So we access those core traumas and release them in your system so you can continue to live a free and happy life.
Okay, so as someone who's had and currently walking through stuff, how would someone know that they have stuff, Diana, that they perhaps should take a look at? What are the clear indicator litmus tests?
Well, the most obvious ones are a big life event, such as a divorce, um, uh, an accident, even. I mean, we're not talking about physical trauma, but there's always a reason why you make decisions that you do. Your world is falling apart. Perhaps it's an event, not just divorce. You're not able to find work. You're not able to produce income. You have like these blocks, these emotional blocks. You know you should be able to do something, but yet there's something stopping you and you don't know why. Depression, anxiety, physical ailments, autoimmune disease. These are all physical manifestations of core traumas that have evolved over your life and are screaming to be dealt with. So, those are just a few.
Well, I've lived through some of this stuff, and I find it fascinating that I could go as many years as I went on autopilot, not in a good way, and not even know. So, how did you wake up to this realization? Because you've obviously walked this out yourself. What is a story that brought you to even be aware that you had this stuff so you could even teach each others?
It started with my divorce of a 20-year marriage about 15 years ago. And it was a painful period. Lasted it's a 5 year separation in order for me to finally get divorced. And being in that traumatic period not only reignited all kinds of behaviors that would come out, paranoia, like all these things. But it was also like a cold bucket on the head, like what is going on? I'm all of a sudden in this new reality that I didn't think I'd ever be in. I got married to be married forever, like most of us do, and everything fell away. I lost my house. I didn't have money. I lost all of my core friends. They just stopped connecting with me because, as women, when you get divorced, and every woman out there who's listening and hearing this knows what I'm saying, we become a pariah. It's an emotional thing that we do with women when they become divorced. And all I didn't have any more support. I didn't even have support from my parents, which was really weird. And I had to really look at my life and the decisions that I made to get me to that point where everything just fell away. So I started digging deep. I started digging really deep, not only counseling, because I'd done counseling forever, therapy. I had to really understand my my decision making process. Why was I choosing people who were narcissists? Why was I choosing people who didn't respect me, who diminished me, who didn't value me? Why did I make these choices? Why was I sort of stuck in this dynamic of feeling like I'm always a victim? Why is this happening? And I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I've had successes in my life. there's no reason for me to be here. So yeah, digging deep, digging deep allowed me to see that I had real core traumas that I had never really dealt with. And also, I became very ill. That was also a sign of the deep hurt trauma that was going on. My hair was falling out. I was falling into autoimmune disease. And I had several friends when they divorced have developed breast cancer all of a sudden. And you wonder, why are these things happening to people? And these are emotions that are coming out, core traumas that are screaming for attention.
Wow, there's a lot we could unpack there. So,
Yeah,
okay, so you go through all of this and then and realize what was the impetus though for you going, okay, I have to, or else I will. Can you talk a bit about that? Because that like it's coming to
sure.
the end of your rope.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to survive. How am I going to survive this new world? This like I was taken out of this world and all of a sudden plopped on a ancient of in the wilderness, basically on some other planet. I had no idea how to navigate. So it was really survival. But I also had three children. I had three sons, and I stayed home for a good chunk of time. Still did consulting work 'cause I was a business and advertising and marketing. I had to also be a good role model to my sons and show them how to how to deal with the situation so that they too could heal because they were suffering and they were hurt and so I had to take all of that and find a way to do better, to be better, to speak about what I was experiencing, to align with women who are also suffering in silence. And I know there are men out there too. Over the course of what I was doing to heal my body, I became a holistic nutrition. I went back into Reiki practice, did a lot of energy work. I went to India several times to really, you know, find out what the hell was going on. Uh, Became a life coach. And through all of those practices, I was able to slowly put the pieces back of my life together and find a new way to help people out of the same situations.
Wow, that's a lot. Did your belief system like not did? How much did your belief system change about life, spirituality, like creating your reality, like all of that? Because that sounds like you went through a pilgrimage.
It was absolute pilgrimage. Um, did it change? Not really. I'm so much a Christian. I very much believe in God, the universe, whatever we want to call it. Um, and I knew that if I didn't pick this husband and this relationship, I would have picked another version. I understood that this had to happen so that I could get out of the programming that I had found myself in. The programming that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't, I needed to diminish myself and shrink myself so that that the person that I worshipped could be big and lead us. So I put myself in this victim position. And I know I did this to myself. No one else did it to me. I chose that. So when it came to spirituality and belief, I really that's what I drew on to get me through all that pain and suffering that I had to experience for 5 years.
Wow. So rising up, what does it look like to, how would you verbiage it? Reinvent, reshape, rediscover yourself? What does it look like rising up now?
Yeah, all of those words are so appropriate. It is really it really does require a redesign, a rewiring, a reprogramming to understand that you're the most worthy person on the planet. You, anybody out there, you are unique, you are worthy. There is there is a world where everything is available to you and you just have to know how to access it. And you have to remove all the, I used to call it heart armor. I've
I
reframed
like
that.
that. I like that.
Yeah,
Harder.
yeah. Heart armor are all the fear-based stories that we tell ourselves. Oh, I shouldn't I shouldn't speak up because they're not going to like me. I shouldn't demand a better whatever because they're going to be mad at me. Or I should, wear a certain, I should present myself a certain way to look a certain way so that they'll accept me. Whatever the stories are, I'm not worthy. I'm not pretty enough, and we say this as women, men don't really, but I'm not attractive enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm not talented enough. All the stories are roaming around our aura or our energy, and we're constantly putting that out. So we're going to attract that back to us. But we have to dismantle all those stories because they don't make sense. Because we are limitless and we have the ability to achieve anything we want. We just have to believe it. And we have to heal our core traumas because it's from the core traumas where we develop these stories about ourselves and beliefs about ourselves. And that is that when we are able to settle those core traumas, then those beliefs disappear, and then freedom happens.
Wow. Freedom. That's quite a word.
Yeah.
How do you describe freedom when you're dealing with clients and you're trying to paint a picture of this is how good it can be?
Yeah, everybody has their own version of freedom, but ultimately, freedom is the unlimited ability for you to make your own decisions, for you to do whatever you want at any time that you want with whoever you want to do that thing with. That's the ultimate freedom.
Like that. There is a book to your right. I keep looking at. What
Yes.
is that? We haven't
Yeah,
talked about this.
that's my latest book. Thanks for pointing it out. I am an author as well. I have three books in the can, and this is
Fun.
the latest, good how to have good boundaries.
I like the cover. I
Thank
like the
you.
cover. Fun.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the book.
Yeah. So it's a practical guide for setting healthy limits with a narcissist, your family, your friends, and at work. So what I've discovered is we have still a lot of these, blocks which diminish our voice and make us think that we have to always be compliant to be accepted. There are very few out there who don't have that voice, and we know who they are. But most of us do this, and when we diminish ourselves based on past traumas, we allow ourselves to be preyed upon by those who want to manipulate, and that's also a survival strategy. I'm not trying to paint a horrible picture because enough of that is done by other people. Um, but when that happens, then we lose all sense of ourselves, and we're always identifying with other people's needs, and we diminish our needs, and we don't have needs. And then before you know it, you're depleted, you're anxious, you're fearful, you don't feel recognized or seen. So I have found that in my practice, many people are lacking good boundaries.
Hmm.
And so I wrote this book for everybody because it's a great reminder to make sure that your wants and needs come first. And this isn't about being aggressive. It's not about being overtly like I'm first because we don't want to go in that direction. It's about being confident, calm, grounded in what you need as an individual to feel happy and seen and respected and free.
Can we talk about the pendulum swing? Because you've alluded to, and I admire some things you said here because, you said, yeah, I married so and so, but I recognize it's what I would have attracted because I needed to learn these. And I'm paraphrasing, not your words, mine, but I needed to learn these things. And as opposed to, everyone else is evil, I'm perfect and it's all their fault. And I was taken advantage of, as opposed to you're taking ownership. And I really appreciate it. Can you talk about what does absolute ownership look like when you're talking about referencing your past, going forward, creating a powerful tomorrow? How do you do that?
Thanks for that question. That's the key, really. We seem to think that when we take responsibility for things, um, that means we're bad in a way. Like that we've done something wrong. We have this good, bad, black, white attitude, which doesn't exist in reality. Everything is gray. There's always room for negotiations, right? When you take full responsibility of your life, and you have to learn how to do that because we weren't taught that. We were taught to be compliant, accepting, to do what we're told everywhere in our lives from the very beginning, from our parents, our teachers, our mentors, our universities, our bosses. Do what you're told. So you're not really being encouraged to find your true voice or self, right? So we have to learn it. It's a muscle we've got to relearn. So when you are able to understand that true freedom comes from taking full responsibility of what you do, what you say, who you are, how you present, that's freedom, because then you have full control and you have choice. When you negate that and don't accept responsibility, then you're putting yourself in the world of somebody else needs to lead my life. I have to wait for someone to tell me and give me permission.
I love that. Am I waiting for permission externally? Lorna Gale and here and talks a lot about that, about he's an academy member, but like permission. Am I waiting for an external source to give me permission to rise up, to change?
Yeah.
Inner authority, outer authority. How do you see? Can you go a little bit more into that? How do you see the difference of those? Because you referenced that you're a Christian. Okay, so how in that belief system, how does that interplay with inner authority, outer authority? Is God in control? Are you in control? How does it work?
Yeah. So being a Christian doesn't necessarily mean that I am focused on a higher order or a higher being, because that's how we've been trained. We've been trained to see somebody in authority who is overpowering us in some way. I am a Christian in the sense that I believe that we are all unique beings. We are all unique uh, uh, sources of energy, light, goodness. We are all God within, as we're taught, but they not really. We don't have that ability. So the inner being is really the most important source that you need to listen to, because that's the trueness. That is the that is your source. That is your true source. What you yourself need, want, feel,
Hmm.
and there is no authority greater than your own authority.
I find it refreshing you say it that way because I was raised in religion, Christianity, and I haven't been able to go back to the box for quite some time, but I still go, God and Jesus are like the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. But I feel like Christ came to show me, I'm talking about myself, that I can return to the Father, to the way of that it's not external. The whole trick was that we thought it was external. It's that anyway. I just love what you said, Diana. I think a lot of
I
people would
agree where you're
reference,
going. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that.
and where can that take us? I go, holy shit, where can that take us? Like, if you let go of
Wherever
all that,
wherever we want it to go to take us. That's
yeah,
that's the whole point. We have the freedom, but we've been told we don't have the freedom. And when we experience core traumas, that's in utero, not even and preverbal, not even the traumas that are in our childhood, because those are just echoes of our core traumas. The idea that we ignore these core traumas, can really make our frame of mind in reference to what is safe, who do we trust, how do we navigate existence in the world. It really skews it if we don't deal with those core traumas and settle them down. That's what I'm really, psychology is very limiting. It's kind of like, we're Christians and we believe in source and God, but when you bring it into the context of the church and the paradigm of the construct of that's limiting. the rules around that is very limiting us. And so, same with modern psychology. It has great uses. It creates awareness. It creates, labeling. It identifies what things are, but it's not dealing with the real core traumas. That's why you're going to be in therapy forever. But I don't want that to happen because we have a
Wow.
world that's traumatized. So,
Wow. Love it.
yeah.
Diana, Mike, this has been amazing. I'm glad you're going to be coming back on the Daily Show. I hope you're going to come back on the Daily Show. And you've already booked for did you book on the 16th for the earlier one or the later one?
The earlier one, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, and I run those, so I'm looking forward to seeing you back here at
Nice.
ENTV. Closing comments then, because people are going to want to connect with you. So obviously, I'll link you here in the actual interview so they can find you. Do you have any afterwards? Drop any links, anything in the comments section of the Facebook?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
anyone can reach out through the links. I offer a 30-minute free consultation. I have programs that we can work together on, and I have lots of resources on my site. I have mini programs, free resources. I have a podcast, Higher Love with Diana Micas. I have books too.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
lots of resources.
Well, Diana, this has been a powerful interview. I'm going to be tagging some people that I feel I should share this with. And thank you for being in ENTV. Thanks for helping us grow. Thanks for bringing who you are and bringing light. Appreciate a lot personally of how you describe stuff because that's currently how I understand it too. And so, just personally, thank you for being here today. I
Thank
appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Amos. I was really excited to be here and share this with you. It's been a pleasure.
Agreed. ENTV members, reach out to Diana. Let her know what you appreciate in the comments, or reach out to her personally. She'd love to connect with you. Check out her books, her links, and all that stuff. And we'll end the broadcast now. Thanks, Diana.